Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then I'm Bex. I'm mum to Finley, who's 11 months old, and I make videos about parenting, lifestyle and motherhood after infertility. I upload twice a week, so hit subscribe and don't forget to hit that bell so you know when my videos go up. So I am so excited to be doing today's video. I love baby names videos and I love these sorts of names. So these names are all girls' names and they have that sort of hippie, hipster, folky, nature name, psychedelic-y sort of vibe to them. There's a lot of words to get through there, so let's just get on into it. So the first name on my list is Soulstice. This is a very way out name, but I'm assuming if you've clicked on this video, then you're not afraid of sort of quite out there names. This name isn't even ranking yet in the UK, and I just think it's a great alternative to the name Summer, which is quite an obvious sort of hippie nature name. I think if you weren't quite brave enough to use it in the first name spot, then it would be brilliant as a middle name. The second name on my list is Juniper, which if you're going off the UK's baby name list from 2017, then it was number 1086, which means that 32 girls were named this last year. It's definitely got that hippie-ish vibe, I think mainly because there was a singer in the 1960s called Devin who wrote a song called Jennifer Juniper, and I just think that's why it has that hippie, folky, nature sort of connotations to it. I am starting to hear it a little bit more, and I think it's mainly around sort of Instagram and YouTube, so I think it's one of these names that's doing the rounds a little bit now, and maybe in a year or so we'll have quite a steep rise. So if you do love the name, I would get in fast. Next name on my list is Liberty, which is number 444 on the list, which means that 99 girls were named this last year. I think it has great connotations because the hippie movement was all about the idea of freedom, freedom of choice, freedom of political ideas, freedom of speech, and that's why I think it ties in very well with this theme. If you are very much into sort of the 1960s aesthetic and style, you will probably love the Liberty sort of print. I'm wearing something that I would think is quite Liberty-esque. Also nice if you have associations with New York for the Statue of Liberty, and I think the nickname Libby is quite cute as well. The next name on my list is Harvest. This is a lovely alternative to the name Autumn, which I think again could be sort of quite an obvious hippie sort of nature name. I think the names Summer and Autumn, although they're absolutely beautiful and I still think are relatively unusual, they are quite obvious for this sort of theme, and Harvest isn't even ranking yet, so I think it's just a beautiful name that still sums up the autumn sort of connotations that you would probably be looking for if you like that name. The next name on my list is Sorel, which again isn't ranking yet on the UK lists, which has that same sort of feel as Sienna, but I think is still quite unusual. It reminds me of the names Sienna and Saffron, but I still think is relatively unheard of. The next name on my list is a bird's name. The name Wren seems to have really taken off in the last sort of 12 months, and I think that will become a very sort of popular name. And if you're looking for a bird's name or a nature name that isn't that, then how about the name Finch? Finch is starting to be used as a boy's name, but I still think it's completely unisex, and I think it would be gorgeous as a middle name. The next name on my list is Meadow, which again I think if you like the name Summer or Autumn or Harvest, you will probably love the name Meadow. It reminds me of beautiful untouched sort of wild woodland in the summer with beautiful wildflowers, so I just think it's a gorgeous name, and I think it strikes that whole hippie, hipster, folky sort of feel without it being too obvious. So Meadow is currently at number 502 on the list, which means that 88 babies were named this last year. The next name on my list was sort of on my secret baby name list. I don't know if we're going to have another baby, and if we do, I obviously don't know if we're going to have a girl or a boy. So it's been close to my heart for a number of years, but I just thought I'd put it out there for you, and that name is Clover. I absolutely love this. I think it's so sort of unique, and again it's a lovely sort of flower or botanical name that isn't very obvious. It's number 2,757 on the list, which means that only 9 babies were named this last year. I think it's one of those names as well that, because it ends with an R, means that it will go with a lot of surnames as well. I'm not ruling this name out completely because I don't know what will happen in the future. I'll never say never, but I do absolutely love it. The next name on my list is a unisex name. Demi Moore used this name for one of her daughters, and that's Scout. As a girl's name, it's number 1,472 on the list, and I think it just sums up that whole idea of adventure and having sort of a free spirit about it. How about the name Paisley? I love this name. I've featured it on a video last year, but I just thought it fitted in with this theme perfectly, so I couldn't leave it out. It's number 161, which does mean it is moving up the ranks quite fast, and means that 348 babies were named this last year. It has such obvious links to the hippie, hipster, folky sort of vibe that these names have. I think it's really feminine without being too sort of fluffy as a name either. If you love the name Florence but feel that it's far too popular now, then how about the name Florence? It's just an absolutely stunning name, I think. It has that whole flower child feel about it without it being fluffy, and it's just, I'd never heard of it before. SJ Strum, who's the queen of the baby names, mentioned this in a baby name video a couple of weeks ago, and I just think it's the most beautiful name. I think if you're looking for a floral baby name but you don't want anything too obvious, then this could be it. How about the name Iona? If you love the name Isla but it's become too mainstream and you're looking for a nature name that has that sort of hipster vibe to it, then Iona could be great. Iona is a tiny island in the Highlands of Scotland, so it has that same sort of heritage as Isla but is relatively unheard of. It's number 427 on the list, which means only 104 babies were named this last year, and I think it could be nice if we also like the name Innes. If you like place names but you're looking for something that has that whole laid back hipster vibe, then what about the name Devin? Devin is number 1,057 on the list, which means that 33 babies were named this, and I just think it has beautiful associations with the place. The next name's gorgeous. It is a bit out there and it does have celebrity status, but I wouldn't necessarily let that put you off, and that's Pixie. Pixie is number 423 on the list, which means 105 babies were named this last year. However, if you are a little bit put off by the sort of celebrity status of it, or you feel it's a little bit too way out there for you and you don't want it as a middle name, how about the name Nixie? I love this name. I've only recently found it and it's not even ranking yet, and a Nixie is a water nymph, so it still has that whole pixie fairy sort of feel to it. And if you love Stevie Nicks, the singer from Fleetwood Mac, then I pretty much can guarantee you'll love this name. If you love the name Amelie but you're looking for something slightly more unusual, how about the name Anais? It's number 356, which means that 134 babies were named this last year. I think a lot of people are put off by the pronunciation of it, which I can understand, just because I think a lot of people say this name as Anais, but if you look at the French pronunciation of it, it tends to be pronounced more as Anais. I think as long as you don't mind the differences in pronunciation, it's a very pretty name. How about the name Jet? Jet isn't even ranking as a girl's name yet, and I think it makes an unusual sort of colour name. We've had Grey as a colour name, which I think makes a great middle name, and I think Jet could also make a lovely middle name. The next one is a pretty out there choice, and I'm not necessarily suggesting it's a first name unless you're brave, but the name Dandelion just seems to me to be a great hippie, psychedelic-y, folky sort of name. I love the fact that you could shorten it down to Dandy, and I love the associations with it. I think it makes a gorgeous unusual middle name with a nature feel to it, and I think you can afford to go a bit out there with middle names, so why not go for it? The next name is Laurel, which is 1,472 on the list, which means 22 girls were named this last year. A laurel wreath was traditionally given to the winners in the Olympics, so I think it has that idea of sort of strength associated with it, which is lovely for a girl's name. I think it's a great nature or botanical name that has a strong feel to it. The final name is Chorus, which isn't even ranking yet. I think it's a beautiful place name. I love the way it sounds as well. I think it has quite a sing-song feel about it. Chorus is in Wales. I think the name has that same sort of laid-back, free-spirited feel that Devin has. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you want more baby name videos, and don't forget to hit the bell so you know when my videos go up. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!